Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where Rangers have finally announced the signing of Djeidi Gassama from Sheffield Wednesday about 15 minutes ago. So nice timing to start recording. The plans were to talk about where Djeidi Gassama actually was. We've seen him in the Rangers training top. Missing posters were about to go out, try to see where this guy ended up, but he's been confirmed now as a Rangers player signing a 4-year deal. So we'll talk about him and our thoughts on the signing. And then again, going through the rumours that we've seen throughout the week, and also players that possibly are leaving. But the biggest thing will be the Panathinaikos game you speak about, which is coming up in a week. So all signs pointing towards the start of the season, which is approaching fast. And first things, but we'll start on is Djeidi Gassama. There was news that broke quite late last week on Tuesday night that we were closing in on signing this guy. After doing a looking into him, seeing what he's like, I was all in on the signing. I think he's a really good looking player, especially for a winger. He's got the attributes I think that would kind of thrive in a Russell Martin side. And it's our first attacking addition of the window. We've not signed anybody else in the forward areas yet, so a big signing coming in there to help us out in the wide areas. And this was all kind of held up by Sheffield Wednesday just being so just badly run. Like Chansiri's just absolutely ruined that club, and it's a shame to see for such a historic club in England as well that they've been took through that turmoil. And by all accounts, we wouldn't have got Djeidi Gassama if it wasn't for their issues on such a fee that we did. I believe it's getting reported it's between about £2 and £2.5 million for him. 21-year-old. He's played the past couple of seasons with Sheffield Wednesday. Came through at PSG. So all signs to me are pointing to this being a very, very smart deal for Rangers again.
Positive deal for Rangers. And it's just hanging with Sheffield there as well. You got a great young coach there as well, that German boy. He
Mm-hmm.
seems to be promising. But listen, if we're getting players like this off them for a steal, that's what I'm hearing Sheffield Wednesday fans saying. We're stealing this guy. I'm looking forward to watching him. If he's exciting the way they're talking about him and stuff like that, should be an electrifying signing. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain youthful player. You hope he's decent. You hope he's good. The players they've turned out been fantastic. But so no, it's an exciting one, as you say. First of hopefully a couple more coming in the wide areas would be nice.
Nah, I think that's the focus at the moment for Rangers in terms of the attacking areas is getting wide men in that know how to play the system that Russell Martin wants. Because I mean, if we look at the left hand side now, we've got Oscar Cortez, we've got Gassama. You look at the right hand side, that is still like non-existent. So you're looking for at least another two, and at least to play in the wide areas. And of course, Asgard is another one that could possibly play out in the wide areas to fill in as well. So. At the moment the squad is kind of coming together. It felt like this signing was going to happen at one point. It was going to be announced in last Wednesday, and then it fell away again, and then it picked back up again, and then we're at the point where we've finally got it over the line. So fair play to Rangers and their owners for dealing with such a difficult club at the moment, and getting this one over the line. But for me, it was the one after I'd read into him. I'd done my kind of looking into what the player was, where he came from, how the Sheffield Wednesday fans think him. More importantly, they are devastated to lose Gassama. Like a lot of their players will be leaving this season on cut price fees. Like it's a shame, but all the better for us. We get a good player on a relatively low fee for us that can hopefully contribute and grow. I mean, he's only 21. He's got a long way to go in the game. So, for me, this is a very positive signing.
No, it's a massive positive sign. You say there, 21, ability to grow and what have you. It's the same boat I'm in. I know Hamza's a special player, but it's the same boat I'm in with Hamza. It'd be nice to see him and Hamza link up more. These kind of young players we've got and just keep them for 1 or 2 seasons. We could have a special team, hopefully.
Aye, no, that's kind of the thought process. Hopefully, Gassama comes in. I would expect him to be involved next week. Whether he starts is another question. He's only kind of been with the group over the weekend and obviously officially signed as of about 20 minutes ago. So there is that. But he's a Rangers player now, and I think everybody's pretty happy about that. On to the next thing, as we said, the big one is the Champions League qualifiers kicking off. We've got I think what is it, 7 players in now ahead of this one. Again, all kind of defensive reinforcements. We've signed Thelo Asgard, Joe Rothwell, and now Djeidi Gassama. So the squad is taking shape amongst all the players that were already there as well. We've still been able to keep a hold of Hamza Egeman, Cyril Dessers is still kicking a ball, Diomande Raskin are still at the club as well. So we're going into this game really positive. I think for maybe a couple of weeks ago when we were waiting and waiting for the first signings to be made, we've ramped up the pressure and it looks like the focus is now getting the team ready for this game. And I think Russell Martin's got a lot to play with. I think he's got a couple of wide men now to fit into the system. He's got a strong enough midfield to really win the game in the middle of the park, and he's also got reinforcements in the defence, which if he picks Tavernier, if he picks Max Aarons, if he picks Nasser Giga, of course, that signed last week as well, he's got a lot to pick from. But it's going to be a difficult one for him to pick his team. I mean, I looked through the way that Russell Martin kind of likes to set up his team. He likes to go 4-3-3. He likes to be, obviously, his defenders to be really high up and playing the halfway line pretty much. I think this will be a difficult task though to do in the first competitive game, Champions League qualifier, to really do that. So we might need different answers. Looking at the team that possibly could start, this is by all means just me throwing some names into a team and seeing what happens. I think Butland, by the looks of it, is still going to be the guy that's getting called on for the number one position. Whether that's what Russell Martin wants there is a different story. We've been linked with Max Rushworth as well from Brighton, who again looks a promising goalkeeper that could play the Russell Martin way. And then the defence, does Tavernier start at right back? Does he play Aarons at left back? I still feel like Yefty's going to be a huge part of Russell Martin's game, so I don't really want to get him out of the team. I think the natural place for Tavernier is to go into centre half again.
I would say so, mate. I think that's probably where we might see him quite a lot this season. I'm happy, obviously, that he's getting the squad together and stuff like that. And I'm not reading. I mean, if you're reading into the friendlies, I mean, come on. I mean, we know what it's about with Russell Martin with these games, just getting the players used to the system and what they're going to be required to do. This game is massive, just for obviously the financial aspect of it. And I'm a bit nervous. I do feel like obviously maybe the game's going to be a wee bit too soon, but at the same time, I'm happy with the players that we've brought in. I think we should have a decent enough team to do the job. And I mean, it's difficult obviously to pick the defence, but that's what's good about obviously Arns, Tav, and Jefty, who's going to play there. Yilmaz, yeah, we'll talk about him later on. It probably looks like he's away on a plane to a sunnier climate. But I know, as I say, mate, it's going to be a difficult game, I feel like, but whoever plays, just go out there and get everything you've got in it, really. But as I say, massive, massive game in terms of financial. Obviously, look, you get into it, get into the competition. You know, we're probably squad wise not going to be player wise not the best compared to everyone else. But listen, look, I'm more caring about the financial thing for Rangers getting into this.
Nah, I mean that's where you can turn your nose up at it. Like
Oh, you
the
can't
games might
listen.
come early in the season, but you have to
Oh,
get
you
there.
have to obviously have to do the business and whatever. But listen, you seen it in the presser as well when Patrick Stewart was asked, is it a must for him to get Champions League football? And it was sort of, it's not really. It's more about, I feel like, the league this season than it is anything else about really about Europe or what have you. But getting into the Champions League is always massive for a club like us, and you want to be there. But if it's Thursday nights again, I wouldn't be shocked if we go far again.
Well, that's the thing. If we, I believe, win this tie, go through the next round, get knocked out, we're directly into the Europa League. But if we lose this first leg tie, and then we drop down into the Europa League playoff, so it's really imperative that we win this tie at least. If we can't make it through the next legs, I believe they're against some tough sides. I think Fenerbahce are in there again. I believe Club Brugge are also in the mix as well. So it's basically a mini Champions League before your season even gets going,
Which
which
is,
makes it tough, but also probably gives players the experience as well.
I just think it's ridiculous, really, to be honest with you. That there's like the top 10 basically, the Premier League or Champions League teams. And
Well, I
then,
mean, look, Crystal Palace are trying to fight to get into Europa League. Like,
I mean, that's a team you want to see in Europa League, you know what I mean? But I mean, like for a club like us having to play these kind of games where The top 10 in the Premier. I just think it's
But
ridiculous.
it's
And
even
even
a
some,
big thing to look at. Celtic won the league last season. They still need to play a playoff to get in the Champions League. It's unfair.
it's completely and utterly unfair. And as I say, it's the way the game is now. You know what I mean? They don't care about having the proper teams in it. It's more about the teams that are considered the big six, the big thing in the Premiership, than it is
Yeah.
the real football teams. But as I say,
Aye.
going back to obviously the team and what have you. I mean, I'm just excited to see who he picks. I can't tell you who's going to be. You know what I mean? And there we obviously know the starters for us basically will still be in there. But I'll be excited to watch the new lads. As I say, you can't judge it off we've seen through the one friendly game or some of the results they've had behind closed doors. You can't if you're doing that, you're daft really. But it's a game, as I say, for the players. It's going to let them know straight away for what they're in for, especially at Ibrox. It's going to let them know straight away what they've signed up for, and sink or swim really moment for some of these new signings in it.
Aye, this is it. It's like it feels like the unknown. You're going into, of course, Russell Martin's first competitive game as Rangers boss. A lot of new signings, a lot of new ideas. We've seen the training videos. We've watched the highlights for the closed doors
Love
games
it.
against Barnsley at the weekend. Like, there's a lot of good things to look at within there. It definitely doesn't feel like the finished thing though, which is maybe
No,
the thing that
that's
Russell Martin will look at.
that's my only thing. As I say, I don't feel like it's his full on. He's not got everyone he fully wants in the door yet. Which I mean, we're taking our time with these signings, obviously. But as I say, for the players, straight away you'll know sink or swim really for me. You'll know straight away because there's only so many times Russell Martin could probably tell you, listen, look, come up here, it's going to be proper. And all that. As soon as you get in that part, you find out. You know what
Mm.
it's like. Box with the dads behind you. You know what I mean? After 5 minutes losing the rag, but aye, I'm hopeful we can do it. I feel like Panathinaikos are going to be a tricky wee team. They've got one or two decent wee players. Got a boy from Man United, Uruguayan
Aye,
boy.
Facundo Pellistri, yeah.
He seems like a decent enough wee player. And then they've got boy was he not at Celtic? I know he was at Leicester and Celtic, was he not? What's his
I
name?
don't think he was at Celtic. It's Tete, the winger, the Brazilian winger they've
Aye,
got as well. I
aye,
think Celtic were in for him at the time when he went to Panathinaikos, but they've got a lot of players that I've known over the years as a side, and looking at their form at the tail end of last season, they just missed out in the Conference League. They just get beat off Fiorentina. Um, so they're a team that can hold their own at the level, and so are we, which makes it to be a quite an interesting tie. Probably the hardest tie we could have got out the draw, mind you, but that is what it is. I think looking even at the players that I've selected now, I think he might go with Bayrami and Asgard instead of Gassama and Cortez. I think even Danilo's in with a shout. He's played a lot of minutes in pre-season. Igaman's obviously still working his way up to full fitness, but I think you need to play your best players as well. And we know Igaman has got the value on his head. If this is maybe the summer where they want to cash in on him, you might as well play him and hopefully fires us to glory in the game in the two legs. Sorry, but it doesn't look like Dessers will make it. Lyle Cameron as well has been in and out with a bit of an niggle at the start of his Rangers career, which isn't great. Um, but I think there's potential for a whole host of players to play in this game. And over the two legs,
yeah,
especially start of the season, there's going to be a lot of players that will be needed off the bench as well.
there's going to be a lot of rotation, but I think that's what makes it kind of exciting for me, as I say, just to get to see different people, try them in different positions, and I just look forward to obviously see Russell Martin's first full-on competitive game, see if he can fire us to the Champions League where we belong. So it's going to be a
Hmm.
difficult one. It's going to be tricky to get through. Obviously, these knockout things, as I say, I think it's ridiculous that we have to even play them. As I say, both Glasgow teams, I just think it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? That they've gone with the top 10 of the Premier League all the time, getting into Europe no baller.
Yeah, I know. It's just the way that the European football is going, and it's not great for clubs like us who constantly. I mean, we push above our weight all the time. We're in the competition. You see what we can do to big and better teams, apparently, and hopefully this is another one of those things where we can at least get through this tie. For me, I'm happy enough if we get through this tie and we can guarantee ourselves Europa League football again. If we can keep pushing for Champions League football, like go for it. But I think, at the infancy, Russell Martin's Rangers' tenure so far, I think the thing is just get by this tie and kind of see what happens after that. So we'll wait and see what team he picks. But onto the transfer rumours over the last week and as of today, Xavier Buyamba
That's a
butchered
mouthful
it,
to say. Glad
butchered
you
it.
tried that.
But Voldenham are looking to cash in on their centre half that is running down his contract. It's his last year. He's 23 years old. He's came through the Barcelona Youth Academy, transferred to Chelsea. I think looking on Twitter, the only reason he never made it through at Chelsea or Barcelona or anything like that is because he some heart issues that came up with him. But he's been able to play a couple of full seasons now, similar to Goldson in the way where it might have just been a scare, and after he's got over that he's finally kind of shown his potential, what sort of player he can be. I think this, to me, at 500 grand is just go and get him. Like, just if you can go and do it, just sign him. That is pocket change now in the day's game. If we can go and get somebody like him on the last year's contract at 23 years old, and there's a whole host of teams looking at him. I believe Watford, Southampton, and Ghent on here by Fabrizio Romano as well are looking into him. But I think this could be a really smart signing for us again. Looking at another market, but it's not necessarily a market that's ever really worked for us in recent years. But I think there's certain players that you could tell that they look like they'll fit the bill. And at 6'5", this boy is, and I just don't see any other way that he comes up here and doesn't stroll it. So, looking at his stats for last season, 36 games played, 5 goals for centre half as well for a team that are probably at the bottom of the Eredivisie, and or I don't even know if that was the Eredivisie. Sorry, I think they might have got promoted last year. But 5 goals anyway, and 36 appearances in
Still,
total.
still hang as I say, boy looks like a unit. So I mean, straight away, as you say, an absolute steal. I don't want to be one of them to compare him, but he does. I mean, he's off Virgil van Dijk vibes there for me personally. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
The size, he just looks like an absolute unity of boy. So it's a no-brainer for myself. Also got a heart thing we've touched on there as well, similar to Goldson, which obviously, I mean, even the other boy that was signed for Bournemouth as well, he had problems with his heart as well, did he not as well?
He's finally got to start playing, which is good. So.
It's great, it's great to see that. But no, it's an absolute steal. And as I said, the boy looks like an absolute unit. Obviously, you can't go off if you've seen any. I'm not watch, as I say, I don't watch YouTube highlights of players anymore. I can't do that anymore. It leads to heartbreak. But no, absolutely. Looks like an absolute bear.
Nah, he looks like the kind of. They've definitely got a type this season. Nasser Giga, I believe, is like 6'4". Manuel Fernandez is about 6'4". They're definitely looking to get the strong,
Guys,
capable defenders that can handle the Scottish game for the first thing. That's the main thing that they should be signed to do. And we'll keep an eye on Muyamba and see if he makes the switch over to Glasgow. But for me, that's got my signing approval anyway. As does Tierno Ballo. This one was last Wednesday, I believe, that Politico broke this news that Ajax, Mainz, Rangers are all in for this guy, 23-year-old winger. Again, coming through the Chelsea Youth Academy, so I don't know if we've got people that have worked at Chelsea and at the time when these guys were coming through. But to me, this feels like, obviously, Djeidi Gassama, by all accounts, I think will be a really good player for us. I like the look of him. But Tierno Ballo feels like the step up. It feels like the £5-6 million player that you'll buy this summer. Because looking at his stats for last season, 13 goals and 8 assists in the Austrian Bundesliga for Wolfsburger. So I think this is the kind of step up, as I said, from the English market into a more unknown market, and finding somebody that's got clear potential, clear goal scoring ability, and kind of all the attributes I believe that Russell Martin will be looking for. Whether he makes a switch is a different story. I've not seen any other news on Tierno Ballo since this tweet last week. Usually, Politico will retweet this initial tweet if there's anything to add to it. But this is definitely one to keep an eye on for me because, again, I've had a look into him. I like what I've seen.
no, but as I say, you got the stats there. It's an absolutely no-brainer. We need wingers in desperately, so absolutely 100%. Say beats what having to watch Ross McCausland play, then absolutely it's a no-brainer. As I say, just she said there, sorry, step up as well. Obviously, he's doing it in a European league compared to obviously Championship, what have you. But no, it's a no-brainer for me as well, mate. As I say, just need to get wide men in.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've seen a lot of wide men linked over the past week. Um, And it's definitely an area that we've had to strengthen in since Michael Beale absolutely massacred the team for wingers that season, and we only had one available. So still recovering after that. But Tierno Barlow for me would be one I'm interested in. On
I'm
to
interested.
outgoings now. It looks like Trabzonspor have offered
Oh, mate,
1.3
rates in
million
it.
for John Souttar.
Aye, 1 point. Sorry, mate, hang me, but it's mates rate in it. You know what I mean? Aye, listen, come on over to Turkey, mate. We're living the life over here. Come on over. And John Suter, please do, please go over there because I personally can't watch you play for Rangers. You're no starter for me.
No.
You're deep enough for half, but you're no the man. Go with your mates lunchtime. Year is I.
Hello, you back?
Like I'm blank. I'm
I'll
back,
just
guy. Can you hear me?
I'll just I'll,
So I
I'll
was
take
stare off there.
over.
What the fuck happened there?
I'll try and take over the now while I get you back.
Aye,
I think you're back involved.
I
Aye,
get me back. I'm here.
I think we're back in action after a bit of technical trouble there. But aye,
Aye,
Trabzonspor
we're
are
back, mate.
looking at
I think it was Stuart McMahon.
sort of coming into just aye. You saying all this bad stuff about me, aye. Um,
Aye.
Yeah, but I think this one looks like it's got some legs in it. I think Rangers are in a position where a year left on John Souttar's contract could mean that if a fee is offered that is deemed good enough, I believe 1.3 million is a bit low for somebody who is in the kind of peak years of their career, an international player. I would be looking to add an extra million on that for Rangers to even possibly entertain it for me. Um, but it's been reported by all the correct people in Turkey. Heart and Hand have also confirmed the interest in John Souttar. I think even the question still remains before you cut out there. I think John Souttar is still probably, as bad as it sounds, the best centre half at the club at the moment. Which I don't know how that's been allowed to happen, but it might explain why Muyamba
I'll,
has
I'll,
came up this morning.
I'll personally, I'll disagree with you. I'll tell you right now. I think Tav's probably the best centre half at the club right now, even if you're to put him there. But no, listen, as I was saying before, John Suter cut about with my internet. It's a must for me get rid of him.
No, I think he probably in his last year's contract, if he's not going to sign a contract, and I don't feel that we're in a position where I would offer John Souttar at 28 years old a contract. The only thing to me that's positive about this is there's not many good Scottish players about that are feasible for us to sign in terms of squad level for European quotas and stuff. He kind of fits the bill as somebody that's good enough to step in, not be a starting centre half for Rangers, but somebody that's good enough to be part of the squad. So I think Rangers might think of that, but I think if an offer comes in over 2 million, then I would 100% take it on that one. Again, back to Turkey, Ridvan Yilmaz apparently has told the club that he wants to leave. Besiktas are in for him for how many transfer windows is this? Every single one of them since we signed them. Besiktas are in for Ridvan Yilmaz. Again, it seems to be that they've submitted a loan offer. This doesn't really benefit us at all. If Ridvan wants to leave, we need to recoup some money for him because again, he's still, to me, Ridvan Yilmaz is still a good player. Look, I've enjoyed watching him when he's been fit. The problem is he's not been fit enough to actually have a sustained period of game time in the squad. So it's been an unfortunate situation for Ridvan Yilmaz at Rangers thus far. If he is to continue and maybe make a transfer out, it has to be a permanent one for me personally.
No, it has to go on a permanent, mate. There's no interest in a loan personally. Still a good enough player. Watch him go back home and he'll kick on. He'll do really well. Feels like most of the time he's been here, he's just sat and collected the wage in it. So as you say, still a decent enough player, but it's just that it's one of them for me. He has to be moved on.
Nah, I think even the players that didn't travel away to the training camp in England is a big thing. Russell Martin said if they're not here, you could probably put two and two together and think they're probably going to move on. So I don't believe Ridvan Yilmaz was in any of those clips that they showed last week, and I think it's probably the right time for Ridvan to go and make the move back home to Turkey. So we'll see what happens with that one. Again, good sources are reporting that one. It's always difficult to gauge what sources are good in Turkey because it seems to just be like constant, but definitely good sources have reported the two of these ones, so we'll see. And then the last one to speak about is this useless
Hopefully,
B, Robin Proper. Aye, Robin Proper. I mean, he's wanting compensation to leave the club. I don't really believe, like,
I mean, yeah, youth, mate.
I think I've lost you again. Anyway, I'll take over for now anyway until we get him back. Aye, for me, this is a transfer that has to happen. He's on
Lost me.
by
I'm
all
still here.
accounts.
You're in it.
You've froze up
Yeah.
in my corner here and you're all like robotic, so I can't hear what you're saying. Oh, we've lost them in complete now. I'll just finish it off. Obviously, some technical difficulties have played into this one, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it looks like Robin Proper will be one that Rangers are happily to cash in on this season. I believe a fee has been reached of about 1.5 million to secure his services in FC20. FC20 just cannot pay the wages that Rangers are paying Robin Proper to get rid of him. So he's wanting his money. Fair play to him. Who wouldn't? So this is one that will probably keep going and going and going. If he doesn't want to leave the club, the reserves bench has happily got a seat in it for you, Robin. But it's just been a bit of a disaster of a signing this one. He came in to be the leader when Connor Goldson left, and he didn't look comfortable in the league at all. He looked very under pressure every single time he got the ball, and he looked yeah, he just didn't look the part whatsoever. So he'll be one that will definitely leave the club, probably alongside Cifuentes and, as you see from the tweet, Rabbi Matondo. But these guys are on so much money that it's difficult to shift them. We've seen that last week with Leon King, where Wycombe Wanderers couldn't pay the wages at 8 grand that Leon King's getting a week. So it just shows you the position that we're in and how many bad decisions have been made over the years that we cannot get rid of players that aren't playing their part for the badge. So at the moment, that's kind of where we're at. We've lost Lewis, but it is what it is. We've been able to do the majority of the podcast without any issues up until now. But Djeidi Gassama is a Rangers player. The Champions League game's coming up, and it looks to be we're heading in the right direction. So if you'd like, subscribe and share, that'd be much appreciated, and we'll see you next week.